Welcome back to the Battery Podcast. I'm Aiden.
And I'm Casey.
No Jack this week. A little scheduling conflict, but the two of us are still very, very excited, as is Jack, because it is game day as you are listening to this Friday night, which is tonight. As I said, the Cannons are back for 2026, taking on the Chaos in their kind of second homecoming. And then they'll be taking on the Waterdogs the following nights. So we've got members of the Canine Crew and the Red Legion to talk about those games with us. Um, yeah, but first we've got maybe some small roster updates to talk about. So we saw Logan Ip has signed his contract. Mikey Weishar has signed his contract. No Hunter Smith yet, though, which is a little bit of a surprise, given that Richmond did lose. The Hunter Smith's college career is over. Um, I don't know, maybe he had a vacation planned, or maybe he's just grieving the that tough loss. But yeah, no, Casey, just any thoughts on those two teams? Or I mean, we got some new faces as well that we haven't talked too much about. Fournier, Reynolds, obviously your favorite Ty Kurt's coming back.
Yeah, definitely excited to have Curtsy out there weekend one for us playing. Um, I am really excited to see like what the new guys on the team are going to bring. Um, Excited to have the rookies show up, show out. I saw some of the clips that the Cannons account on Instagram was posting from this week, the past couple days, and Mikey Weischer is there. Excited to see him out there. Excited to get some wins this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, just can't wait to be there in person,
We are
cheering
so
this game
back.
on. I know. And we haven't even mentioned yet as well. There's a fifth game happening because we'll have the first ever WLL outdoor game, full field, 10 on 10. Yeah, the Guard versus the Charging. Boston can get revenge for their Champ Series defeat. Yeah, it's gonna
Wouldn't want it any other way.
yep. Um, yeah, it's gonna be an awesome, awesome weekend of lacrosse.
Yeah.
I think
Saturday
though,
is going to be beautiful.
yeah,
I'm so excited. Everybody better be there in
yes.
Pawtucket,
Yes,
not Providence.
not in Providence, in Pawtucket, Centerville Bank Stadium. All right, I think we've given enough of an update there at the beginning, so let's kick it over to our conversation with Brett and Michael. A big thank you to Brett from the Canine Crew and to Michael from the Red Legion for joining us for this Auxiliary Cannons Homecoming preview weekend. Michael, Brett, how you guys doing?
Doing good.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, thank you both for coming on. And Michael, we've had you on before, but Brett, I think you're new to the Canine Crew. If you want to introduce yourself for the listeners.
Yeah, sure. Brett Kaplan. I'm a third grade teacher during the day, but huge lacrosse fan also during the day and after school. My family's always lived and breathed lacrosse, so I've been playing since third grade and just was a huge honor to get involved with the Canine Crew and be part of the fan supporter club and the brotherhood and sisterhood that entails as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think we were talking before we recorded. It's really cool, like the connections that we've made with people from all eight fan bases is really nice. That we're definitely friendly. Um, you know, yeah, outside the whistles, and then just keep that rivalry hopefully to the 48 minutes that we're watching our favorite players play. Um, I think I also got to ask, whose jersey are you rocking today?
This is an autographed Michael Sowers jersey. And just a little disclaimer here, I feel kind of like a weirdo for this because I played against him in high school, which is not the flex. It's not a flex, and here's why. So uh, I was a senior when he was a freshman, and I was like a second line midfielder, and he was just this stud attackman, but he was so short. Like he still is relatively short, but he was really short as a freshman. He must have had six to eight assists against us, and I was just taking some face-offs. But it feels kind of weird wearing a professional lacrosse jersey of a younger player, and gotta love the massive dude wipe
Yeah,
sponsorship. But yeah, looking forward on a different note, getting the new Philadelphia Nike jerseys too. So
absolutely. Yeah. I mean that jersey's quite a flex, and that is definitely a good story to come along with it. Um, I did have that realization. I think there's only one or two players on the Cannons that are older than I am now. Um, and Michael, yeah, I suppose, not to date you, but I'm sure all the Chaos players are older than you.
For sure.
Um, but I guess we make our pieces. Although having the story of playing against them is pretty fun. Yeah, wish I had a similar one, but alas.
it's never too late.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see if any of them play ULAX this summer. I know actually Jack Rowlett does play Boston ULAX, and I'm
Oh
sure.
man.
That just doesn't seem fair.
I know,
No,
right?
well,
Like
so our other leader, Jack Horseman, did play against him when he signed up to play in the spring, and he was just there to like get some cardio in basically, and like get the stick in his hand. Because dear God, can you imagine you're some
just
guy
whacking you.
on your summer, you not even summer, you're like your spring break, like you graduated from some D3 school last year, and now Jack Rowlett is covering you.
Yeah,
Uh,
no way.
yeah. All right. So. We're in we'll say 1.5 of the PLL season. You both have seen your teams play a game. We have not yet. That'll be coming today as you're hearing this. So I guess let's start, Michael, with you since the Cannons play the Chaos first. How do you feel about the Chaos after week one?
Um, Feeling okay. It was a little rough. But I even said I was thinking to myself when they came out that second half and just started scoring some goals, I was like, there must have been some kind of epic speech in that locker room. And then, of course, a couple days later, you get the PLL putting up video of Coach and Rowlett, giving it to the guys. So, I mean, that was definitely the kind of ball you expected to see rather than what you saw in the beginning. Like they just looked a mess. Like it was kind of like hero ball, like me, I'm gonna go do this. And we got so much speed on that team that there's no point. We can't get someone to slide and you get an open guy. I mean, there's got to be someone open.
Yeah. Yeah, how'd you feel about obviously we saw Teddy Malone. We enjoyed rooting for him the last few years and we'll be rooting hard against him this week. But he and Detweiler and Eric Spanos, how do you feel about the rookies' performance so far?
They were looking pretty good. I did like Detweiler seemed like a good short stick. So that's something that's pretty much been needed around this team, I think, is to kind of bolster that group. Um, yeah, Teddy getting a goal. I think Detweiler got a goal too, right?
And Spanos, I
And
believe. Or no,
yeah,
no, not.
I don't think Spanos was able to get one in.
No, I think you're right because I referenced it in the little sketch that I
Uh,
wrote.
I do like his game. I always worry about his health because that was kind of his thing in college as well, is staying healthy.
Yeah.
Um, but I saw a screenshot of just like him going right at Liam and putting it right back in Liam's in net. And I was like, there was so much goal right there. But, in the heat of the moment,
Yeah, it's tough in
it's
that
tough,
debut.
but it's like just the screenshot was just like, man, we had an open goal. Liam's tough. Liam is definitely tough to
Yeah,
score on.
he's a big guy too. Um, all right, and Brett, lot to love from the Dogs' first performance. Maybe not in the first quarter, but certainly the other three. So, how are you feeling about the Dogs after week one?
I'm excited, but I'm trying to temper expectations for right now. I think in the long run, this team is extremely talented, extremely deep, especially on offense. But we're looking at these early season lineups where you have players that are still in college or players that are still in the NLL playoffs. And there's such a constant flux of who's going to play on a given week. So, last week we were missing Kirst, we were missing Courier, we're missing Richmond. This week we get Courier back, but not the other two yet. So you're just going to see a team that's working itself out and finding everyone's roles. You can consider Zed like a new addition because he didn't play. So they're just going to have some growing pains. And you saw it in week one. They had 0 goals in the first, then 9. And then if I recall, let me check, I have it right here. The third quarter was
Six and then one, I believe.
6 and then 1. Yeah, so it was like they go in these stretches of looking like they're going to be the best offense in the league, but as they work out their roles and and figure themselves out and find that identity, it could be some growing pains, some tough stretches. So they kind of just got to play, in my opinion, like 500 ball until they get the full team together. And I think that end product is going to look beautiful at the end of the season.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say I'm terrified because Sowers has gone off against the Cannons the last few years, and I'm not sure that we have anyone to match feet with him. So I like skipping ahead a little bit. I think I'm very worried about his ability to just take over and win the game almost by himself. Um,
I
but
thought, yeah, I thought it was interesting. In that run in the second quarter, he had 5 points of the nine, and then he didn't have any points in any of the other 3 quarters. So, like, he could just explode at any given time.
yeah, yeah. So hope obviously the Cannons have to game plan for two rosters, not just one. But I hope a significant chunk of the last couple of weeks has been like, how do we just keep him from getting the ball, period.
Hmm.
Um, But it must have been such a relief for the midfield to be scoring the way they did. Jack Hanna lighting it up, McConvey with a couple goals. I think Jake Taylor was listed at attack, not midfield, but he's kind of, you know, he had a great start and then kind of tapered off. Um, but how with that their playoff win, like all the goals came from the attack last year. It must have felt. Oh, and Connor Kelly, gee, how can I forget about him with the two pointers? Like must
Yeah, well, I had noted on our Instagram as well, Jack Hanna had his best points output since 2023, I think it was. So it's going to be crucial to get those guys involved. But I don't know if you saw the Zed goal was one of the weirdest goals I've ever seen. So
the
it
two
was nice to
pointer.
get the 2-pointer that was off of a ground ball and he just chucks it because the net was empty. And
Yep.
the announcer's like, that might be I think that's a 2-pointer. It was like it didn't even look like a shot. It was pretty bizarre, but you'll take what you can get, and they're deep. We're just gonna have to see if they get stagnant at times while they figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, All right. So we've talked a little bit about last week. I mean, we talked a little bit about the future, but let's it's Cannons podcast and a guard podcast. We're talking about let's gas up the Cannons for a little bit. Michael, or actually either of you, what are you the most worried about in this coming matchup with the Cannons this weekend?
I'm just worried about scoring all the time. That's usually my thing with this Chaos team is just being able to score. I know you guys got Owen Grant now, so it's like you guys got a pretty good defense still, even though you've had some leave. Um, but yeah, it's just scoring on teams is really my fear.
Yeah, I think until Owen Hiltz comes back, where the goals are going to come from is going to be a
Exactly.
little bit of a
I'm
question.
like, Owen, could you just have a sweep and just be back next week? Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Sweep in either direction. Just
Yeah, yeah.
um yeah, Brett, from your perspective, obviously you talked about like the consistency, but anything about the Cannons in particular that you're a little worried about the Dogs matching up with?
I just think, and this is not based off any statistical analysis here, but it feels to me that the Cannons' experience, their age, these guys that have played together for so long have that continuity and that chemistry there that the Water Dogs don't have. But I look at a guy, Philly proud, I believe Villanova grad Matt Campbell is arguably the top midfielder right now, and
Well, he
he
was
can.
last year.
Right. So I think that they're dangerous there. And what I would love to talk about at some point, I don't want to take control of this by any
No,
means, is the
please.
face-off play and the transition game there, because I have concerns.
Hmm.
And I am interested to see what that looks like, this matchup, Farrell and Tucci here.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. I wonder if I can go back to Tucci's stats to see if they did wind up playing before. Because obviously Farrell's been out for a while, and I think it must have been a pleasant surprise for you last week with how well he did. But I wonder, yeah, let's see like how that is going to go long term. Let's see if we go game stats to 22. Yeah, he went 15. Tucci went 15 of 32 against the Chrome, which would have been um Farrell at the time. So that's 46.9%, call it 47. And then he did not play the following year, or did not play against them the following year. So I don't know, it's probably too small of a sample size to go off of. Um, yeah, I
I
don't know.
just So everyone, there's a lot of hype. This almost feels sacrilegious of me, but everyone's very much feeling the hype about Farrell and his performance last week. And if you look at the raw numbers, the percentage, the ground balls were great. Like if you could get that, you'd be thrilled. But what I don't think people are realizing that are not that, watch the game and are not just looking at the stats is what really mattered to me was he's winning ground balls, and then we were not settling into the offense very well. There's a
Mhm.
lot of turnovers, whether it was credited to him or not. So if he can clean that up, we're in a great spot. But I've seen Tucci, to the benefit of my fantasy roster, push the ball, score some goals. And I'm not sure if Farrell's going to do that for us at all this year. That's just not his game. So, he might end up 60% with a ton of ground balls, but how many possessions did we lose or get a shot clock violation because we just couldn't get there in time? So, I don't know. I think we need to temper our expectations of what he's going to look like this year because everyone's really excited about the percent, and you got to make sure to look at the turnovers too.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that the two turnovers that he was credited with in that game, and like you said, who maybe one or two of those more were maybe not credited to him, but still didn't keep the ball. And I definitely would pick Tucci in a foot race. So if
Yes,
Connor Farrell's running
absolutely.
down
And
the middle of the field, I do think that the Tucci will catch up to him.
I think Farrell would pick Tucci as well.
Wrestling match, I take Farrell for sure. So,
Yes, 100%.
um, I
Was
think
that not Farrell's like issue before though too? Was
it
kind of
was.
going backwards and just holding on to the ball and like not getting that 32 seconds like into your offense,
Well, I
Yeah,
think
I
he
think.
also
I think
preceded the shot clock change as well.
Mhm.
yeah, probably too. Probably for that.
Yeah, it was definitely
Yeah.
the 32 shot clock, I think, kind of ended his career in the PLL because he just
Yeah.
couldn't. He was a good face-off winner, but not a good enough lacrosse player.
Exactly, exactly. So I'm interested to see what that looks like in 2026 because what I saw from the Whip Snakes in the second half there is you saw Shipley, Bernhardt, and I don't even know this other guy. I apologize to Whips fans. I don't even want to try to pronounce his name, but there
You
was
don't have
five.
to.
Jungerkiz? I'm not
Yes,
sure
that's right.
either.
Yeah, five face-offs that were not their main face-off guy, and they were short stick D middies taking them, and it felt like they were conceding the ground ball backwards, saying, "All right, Farrell, like come at us,"
Yeah.
and it worked a few times. So it'll be really interesting to see what the adjustments are from other teams on how they, like are they just going to let him win it backwards and then take the ball after that? I don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
that's definitely been a strategy the Cannons have used before. When I think they didn't dress a face-off guy at all for a
Mhm.
while. And you got to think like Ethan Rawl and then Christian Fournier, an Army grad, they're going to be busting their asses up to that stripe to hack his arms up if they can.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you for giving me a little bit of hope about this game. I think Sowers can't score if he doesn't have the ball because not Tucci, Farrell keeps giving it away. Um,
Yeah. Please don't say Tucci.
no, listen, as long as he's wearing his freaking shoulder pads this year, because that's the dumbest penalty to get, just literally not having the equipment on. I think with this being the first game of the year, we got some new faces for the Cannons. We talked about I always mentioned Fournier. We got Remington Reynolds playing defense as well. But I think most hyped is definitely that number two overall pick, Mikey Weishar. Um, I mean, it's tough to know exactly how he's going to mesh the pro level yet, but he's definitely going from being the guy that everyone who's played Towson for the last 4 years had to watch out for to being arguably the second option or second threat behind Matt Campbell. Um, so do you have any ideas on like maybe what matchup you would like to see him take on as far as getting the pole or not or the D mid or I guess just how concerned are you about him going off this weekend?
Well, first of all, I'm glad that isn't it Brooks that has helped? No, no, no. It's who's our Ford, our GM
Hmm.
coach, Mikey,
At
or he's
Towson?
been a part of, so it's like at least he knows him and he
Yeah.
knows, a little bit more about him. So that's nice to have like that comfort of like, oh, he's not just like an unknown college guy coming in, having one of those like college 6 point games, all of a sudden, because that
Mhm.
happens so often in the PLL, like a new guy comes in and just blows it up real quick
Yep.
because no one's like ready for that guy. So that's got me a little more comfort
Yeah, let's put you at ease
in
a little
that.
bit.
I think it's always interesting for me to think about these rookies coming in and what that transition looks like to the pro game, the different rules. But what I think is makes the POL different from some other leagues is I'm a huge NBA fan, and I see how some of these rookies come in and they have to learn like the physicality of the NBA, and it's almost a welcome to the league moment. But for POL, he should be able to keep up and bring us like jolt of, I guess, youth and energy that is not able to be matched by everyone. So I'm not sure there's that same physical transition and change that'll be tough for him. So you can see rookies put up these big seasons more so maybe than in other sports.
Yeah, and I'm just pulling up the Towson schedule because they didn't win their conference. So just trying to see how long he's had off. Um May 2nd. So a couple weeks, which hopefully is that sweet spot of if you had any kind of lingering injury, then hopefully
Yeah.
that's healed well enough. And obviously he still had the stick in his hands. I think he was at the no, he couldn't have been at the first training camp because he was still playing, but he's had a lot of time to learn, the playbook to the extent that that exists and just get comfortable with terminology and whatnot and teammates. And obviously he's been there all this week in Rhode Island. Um, and the people of Rhode Island want to make very clear it's Pawtucket, it's not in Providence. So uh, just wanted to shout them out on that. Um, yeah.
Anyone from Rhode Island or anyone who's not from this area is probably not really going to get that, but it's
Yeah,
fine.
no, it's
I
they're
yeah,
yeah, they're next door to each other, but
They're two different places, but
they are.
I gotta pay him a compliment though. I respect his I saw, and this is because I'm a huge fan of the PLL trivia on the app, that he changed his goal song to shipping up to Boston. So he's
Mhm.
really leaning into like, yeah, I'm part of the Boston Cannons now. So you got your guy, and he's really owning that connection there.
Yeah, I love seeing that. I think we're seeing more and more like the guys who are committed to being like full-time professional lacrosse players and not trying to like do this on the side for a few years while they go to Wall Street or whatever. Um,
Mhm.
and I mentioned this when we talked to Coach Holman a few weeks ago that like you could see in that post-draft video this moment of appreciation on his face after the initial celebration where he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be a pro lacrosse player," and that's really cool.
It
Uh,
is cool.
yeah. And obviously as fans of him and fans of the team that he's playing for, I think it's really exciting to see.
Yeah, I was literally just telling somebody that I made a post, on the Red Legion account, and literally the first person is Chad Palumbo.
Mm,
And then I did like the whole like, what's your score predictions? First answer to that sticker on the story is Chad Palumbo. And I'm like, this is so cool. Like,
yeah.
it's like
It,
he's not even with the chaos yet.
I know. He was like he followed us back in 2024
Yeah.
as well when he was I guess a sophomore in college at that point. Um and I mean again, we were certainly hoping that he would somehow fall to
Yeah,
Boston. But
yeah.
exactly.
yeah, he was he's really embraced, I think, as well, being a pro lacrosse player.
You do
Um
love to see that.
yeah. Yeah. We'll hope that kind of that salaries, I think when the first guy leaves college early to go play in the PLL, I think that's when we know we
I know,
That'll be
right?
like
When
the
we're gonna have like
turning
that
point.
junior that can play,
yeah.
gets drafted.
Because people have been saying like every year Sean Light, if he was eligible or if he chose to, he'd be a first round draft pick.
I think I heard on Dan Oresti's podcast with Paul Rabel around Championship Series that they're saying it's now up to about, I want to say like 80% of players they're doing it full time when it used to be 50-50. So I could be wrong on that. Got to go re-listen and fact check myself. But, or if you have a fact checking department in this podcast, I'd like that.
Yeah, it's me during the edit. Um,
No, it definitely has increased a lot. And it's, just hearing and seeing each year the rookies getting more like excited and getting more, committed, I guess you could say, to just being more of a lacrosse player, um, then it just is naturally going in the direction of in a couple of years, it's going to be players living in market and they're going to be able to dedicate their time mainly to lacrosse. And, some of them have already been able to do it, which is amazing because of different sort of deals and things that they're in sponsorships. But it's definitely a really good feeling to see this because it just feels like it's just going in that direction naturally.
Yeah, I think it's probably just luck that Michael Sowers lives around this area and grew up around here. But the reason I got this jersey signed is they did one of those autograph signing spot. I don't even know what you would call it. Um, and it was him and Jack Hatta at a Lacrosse Unlimited nearby. So seeing those kinds of events where these Philadelphia athletes are out in the community is really cool for me. I imagine same. And it seems like Mikey is going to be a guy that's like really proud and committed to Boston. So I love that for you guys.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
say,
I
yeah,
mean,
the Boston and the Guard, the Cannons and the Guard both have lots of Boston running through it.
yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was intentional, but to see all the BC players that have wound up on the guard and then obviously, drafting a couple more of them this year. Um, yeah, you feel like hopefully this weekend, but definitely in Harvard, like the alumni and their teammates and all that showing out is going to be
For sure.
a really fun part of the crowd. Like, do you remember the Brian Minikis game in Fairfield a couple years ago?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that
Where he
was
had all his buddy, like 30 dudes up there.
yeah, because he's from that area, Connecticut, so it's just like everyone he went to high school with and a bunch of his college teammates in the area. Um, yeah, I feel like we're gonna get that for the guard at the very least. Um,
That'd be cool.
yeah, and I don't know. I guess maybe for Weishar it'd be Maryland because he's I think he's from there. But obviously we got the governor has his section and have it as well. Um, all right, I think there's just one more little bit of this to handle before we finish up, and that's of course the score prediction. So, Michael, you said you posted on the Red Legion. I guess do you want to give your own, or do you want to give the most common answer for how you think this game's going to go?
You want me to, I'll give what Chad Palumbo said himself.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
go we'll go with 12-8 Chaos.
Oof.
That from Chad Palumbo.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I will say, we didn't talk about the things that where the most, well, I talked about Michael Sowers, but the thing that scares me the most about the Chaos is definitely Blaze Reardon. They've had a tough time scoring against him. That 8-4 playoff game is going to live in my brain for a long, long time.
Don't tell me about low scoring, sir.
My
One
apologies.
goal. One.
Yeah, that's a real you adopted the darkness. I was born in it type of moment. Um, yeah, so I could see that, I certainly could see the Cannon struggling to score, particularly, every team's kind of figuring out the rust and working in the new players.
First game.
Yeah. Um, I don't know, Casey, you want to give a prediction? I'll give one as well. Um, I will say I'll say 11-10 Cannons, which I think was the same score when Drenner had that golf shot to beat them in overtime.
Oh man, yes.
Let's see. Well, I'm definitely going to say that the Cannons are going to win.
Of course.
I think it's going to be maybe like a 9-7
Oof.
Cannons.
That'll be a tense one. We're gonna be,
Yeah.
yeah, gnawing on our fingernails the last couple minutes
Sweating.
of that. Yeah. I guess Brett, you're welcome to weigh in, or if you just want to give your prediction for Philly as well.
We'll start with the chaos. I think the Cannons are gonna win 13-10.
All right.
And I
I'll
think
take
across the
13.
league we're gonna see some higher scoring games this week. Hopefully. I mean last week there's some slow moments, especially the first one? It was a
Yeah, 9-5.
log, yeah. And
What
then
a
the
way to make
last
a
one
living.
10-7 as well. And then switching gears to the Water Dogs, I think you're still going to see spurts of some rough looking offense, but I think the talent's just too much. And honestly, at that point, when you're talking about the second game in 2 days for the Cannons, I think the Water Dogs are going to pull away late. So I'm gonna go 14-12. 14-12.
All right.
Water Dogs.
Uh,
Have you guys
ooh.
ever not chose Cannons on your own podcast?
Yes, I do that with some frequency, and I was about to do that right now, actually.
Okay.
I unfortunately I do agree with you. Obviously I want to be wrong. And so I certainly could be wrong. But I think, like you said, that second day of a back-to-back, I think some of the speed of the Water Dogs players like Jack Hanna and Sowers is going to be tough to catch up with. Um, yeah, we'll see about the defense. I think if they can organize and communicate better than they did last year, things might work out, and hopefully some of that's still those growing pains that you mentioned are gonna rear up at bad moments for Philly. And hopefully Connor Farrell keeps throwing the ball away. But I think I will say I was gonna say more, but I think I'll say like 13-10 for the Water Dogs.
I just appreciate that you'll go against yourself because, I've seen people out there. I have a buddy who's a huge Eagles fan. He'll never choose the Eagles game. He'll never make a prediction for it at all. So, the fact you make all these predictions, you own them, and you may carry bias, but you are still able to go against yourself there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think if I pick the Cannons every week, then it loses some of my integrity as a as a commentator. Um, yeah, I'll be rooting to be wrong in that game, but it's going to be a tough climb.
I think you should keep stats. I don't know if you did this in past years, but keep like your predictions from the whole year.
Um,
Standing.
yeah, we haven't, but I think I am going to start that for this year.
That'd be cool. That'd be
Yeah.
cool to keep track of.
Uh, yeah, Casey, are you going to be a homer, or do you honestly think the Cannons win? Or
Honestly, it's so tough because we haven't seen them play yet.
yeah,
So, um, I think the Water Dogs are definitely full of surprises at times. So I don't want them to beat us, but I think that they could pull it off. And I think they could win by a few goals. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say like an actual like numbers prediction, but I think that they might take it by a few goals.
yeah. 'Cause man, in all this Water Dogs chat, we didn't even mention Gavin Adler.
I was just thinking that. Just thinking that, I swear.
Um, yeah, I wonder because I don't think he quite has the size to match up with Asher, and I think with Marcus being an off-ball guy, his talents aren't best suited there. So I think I kind of envision him going against Coulter, and then hopefully not, but potentially like taking him out of the game to a large degree. Um, and then it'll be interesting to see who does get. I'm just trying to look who's the biggest guy on Philly to see who might get the Asher matchup. Looks like it might be Brower. Um, or Hudgens. I'm not sure. Actually, we did get the lineups for this weekend. Let me.
Funny, I have the preview on the PLL app right here, and it was like it's one of the most heated rivalries, and the PLL is back. Philadelphia and Boston have met in the 2023 semifinals, the 2024 Championship Series title, and have split the last four regular season matchups. But then you add, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. I can't believe we didn't talk about him until 30 plus minutes in, but
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to make a big difference. Big difference.
yeah. That is going to be a uh, tough first game for whoever winds up on, or whoever he winds up on for most of that game. Yeah. So we know Brian Holman predicted that Coulter would score 6,000 goals this year, but that's gonna be
It's gonna be pretty tough.
I've
yeah, it's
got
gonna be a
I've
tough
got a
start.
nice rookie card of his out of 10, so I hope he does.
Oof. Yeah, that's a good pull.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. All right. I think any closing thoughts? Let me just look through that Philly roster again. Just
Guys, I know that it's only two teams that are going to be playing this weekend, but we have to at least talk about the WLL
yes, you're absolutely right.
just a little bit.
Um, Now, if the PLL games were hard to predict because of the roster
Yeah.
turnover, I feel like the
Yeah.
WL is almost impossible. Um, I know obviously the Guard are going to be upset with how the Champ Series ended for them. Um, really ran out of gas. Um,
Hmm.
I'm trying to pull up the roster. I am so excited to see Shea Dolce in goal. Not sure if it's going to be her or not, but um, I mean, she's had such an amazing career at BC that it feels like I don't know, it's like the season's so short in terms of number of games that it's hard to like really experiment with anything, but also like unless someone's really solidly won the battle in training camp, which seems hard because BC only finished up their college season like this past weekend. It's hard to really know what you have in there. So I certainly do hope we see her one way or the other this weekend. Um, but for the rest of it, it's hard. Like I think we know Cassidy Weeks is a dog, Dempsey Arsenal, Madison Ahern, like all the players that they have from Championship Series, and not even obviously Charlotte North is the best player. Um, I'm super excited to add Kenzie Kent, but yeah, I don't know. There's so many new players to make a predictions. I mean, this one I will be a completely biased homer. I'm going to say the Guard are
Just go
going to
guard.
win.
Yeah.
I have no idea how or why.
I think that being, just skimming through the rosters 2 seconds ago, for the two teams, the Guard is going to have pretty much almost everybody that just played a couple months ago together, um, at Champ Series, and then some of them from Champ Series the year before. And so, not to mention, a lot of the girls have played in other leagues like Athletes Unlimited, before. So a lot of the Guard players are very familiar with playing with each other, either college, over many years. And then looking at the charging, there are a few that were on the roster in Champ Series, and then last year as well. But I think that's going to be a big benefit to the Guard to have that familiarity and already know each other and have like those close knit relationships established as well, off the field. So I think the Guard's going to take it.
Yeah, totally agree.
Gonna be a totally different game too, being the full field rather than the sixes for
Yeah.
them for the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I'm not
sure.
I'm not gonna pretend to know the rosters too well. Like I feel like it'd be disingenuous. I was at Championship Series. The semifinal loss was it just felt like the momentum shifted at one point. They just couldn't
Yeah.
stop the bleeding. I'm looking now and I recalled that it was an 8 goal period for the
Mhm.
charging and I just ran away with it in the second half. But I can't understate like how cool it is to have this moment, the inaugural opening weekend for WLL. So I'm just hoping that
Yeah.
big crowds, like recognizing how historic this is. And I hope I get some good Charlotte North cards when I open these new boxes.
Oh yeah, yeah. I placed an order for a couple of those as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's going to be a great item in for collectors in a couple of years.
I need a promo code. Like use Canine Crew at checkout for
I
get
Yeah.
know.
that'd be
Like
cool.
Yeah.
we had those for Christmas a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
We
cool.
can bring it back. Yeah. Um, so anyone listening,
Yeah. We've
try
asked.
promo code Boston Battery 10, but I don't think it'll work. That was BOS Battery 10. That was right. They abbreviated it all.
Mm.
Um, Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the crowd's going to be awesome. The stadium, I have not been there before, but it looks really, really cool from all the pictures that I've seen. And I think it's like that size of venue that the PLL can fill up, which is
Yes.
similar to like Salt Lake City. So it's going to look really cool on TV. Hopefully people are there all day. Obviously we will be. I'm going to get sunburned. Casey will be more responsible with sunscreen than I probably would. Um, I'm
I
not.
will bring sunscreen.
I will
Amen.
too. It's just a pattern. Um,
I'm sorry, but you are far too fair skinned to be doing that.
I agree. Yeah.
No, tomorrow's weather is not supposed to be great at all, but Saturday is going to be near perfect weather for lacrosse. So,
Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
and
it's a long day still, though.
it is a long day.
It's a
I think
long
I
day.
also want to shout out the league is having a pop up at the
mhm.
Guild Brewery, which is just a little bit of a walk from the stadium to be a hangout between games, and they'll have all the games on TV. So we're definitely heading there in between the first PLL game of the day and then in between the guard game at 5:30. So it should be like an hour, 90 minutes. So just want to shout out. Um, really excited to go there, hang out, hopefully just talk about lacrosse and how the Cannons are going to do that night. And um, yeah,
That was that was the word I was looking for was pop up. I said spot up.
oh
I'm
yeah,
still in early season for myself or in the podcasting. So we'll get there just like the Water Dogs chemistry, but pop up. And that sounds like an awesome thing. I wish I could go.
yeah. Are you gonna? I assume you're gonna be at the Philly weekend. Will you be able to make it to any others?
I was looking at the schedule, just trying to see which are reasonable drives for me. To be determined, we'll say, but
Okay.
definitely game syncing for every single one on the POL app. I feel like
Yeah,
I'm promoting the app like crazy tonight.
I know. Dude, I have such that impulse to like any a task or achievement, or whatever. Because I got MVP last year, so I have two free tickets that maybe or maybe not will be given away on this podcast later in the year.
Oh.
Um, Yeah, just all give me daily accomplishments to achieve, and I am going to achieve them.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, as a third grade teacher, just having some title or recognition works wonders for anyone, children
Anybody.
and
Yep.
adults,
Yep.
clearly.
Gamifying everything.
Yeah. Michael, how about you? You be anywhere besides Carolina this year?
I don't believe so. It's just so hard to get out of the South, you know.
Yeah.
Everything's everywhere else.
You can't make it
I
to the
I
other
so
Western
wish.
Conference teams.
Yeah. None of our other Western Conference
Yeah, just a quick
matchups.
drive to Denver or San Diego.
Yeah. I get so jealous of the Northeast. It's like everyone's like, oh, I could go to this game and this weekend and this weekend, and I'm just like, that's so far. My
Yeah.
closest is probably Maryland. Maryland's probably 6.5 hours, 7 hours
Yeah.
from
That
where I
drive through
am.
all the way through Virginia is tough. Um,
So yeah, it's just Carolina. Try and do our watch parties.
yeah. Hopefully if they make it to the championship series, you'll be or the championship game, you'll be able to get up there. But
Yeah.
just watch them lose to Boston. Um,
Yeah.
All right. Thank you both for coming on. It's always fun to talk across with new and with returning guests. So I know they play Philly again, obviously. I don't think they play Carolina again, but if they do, whether it's in the playoffs or the regular season, we will love to have you back on, Michael. And we'll have you on again, Brett. Um, yeah, any closing thoughts or anything you want to promote before we say goodbye?
Just, support the POL and the WOL. Spread that love of lacrosse.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you are a fan of one of those other two teams that found your way to this podcast, we'll of course have the socials for the Red Legion and the Canine Crew linked below. Um, yeah, Michael, Brett, thank you very much for the time, and may the best team win this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
And thank you so much, Brett and Michael, for the great conversation and game preview, and a little bit of a recap from last weekend as well on how the teams did on opening weekend. It just got me that much more excited, that much more pumped up. How are you feeling, Aiden?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, I'm just feeling great. I mean, nervous too. Like, Philly put up a kind of a scary amount of goals. They gave up, a decent amount too. So we'll see. Hopefully the Cannons can get theirs on the second night of a back-to-back. But yeah, just excited. I think as long as they don't get blown out in both games, I think it'll just be a joy to be there in that crowd. Just looking for those big moments, like when Verdaro scored to take the lead at Harvard against Philly a couple years ago, or when Boston tied it up against California last year. Obviously didn't end up winning that game, but still just the rush in that moment from the crowd was like nothing else. I think um, it's partially the size of the venue, but also just the legacy of the Cannons being here in Boston for so long. I certainly hope that we're going to get a really, really good turnout in Rhode Island this weekend. So cannot wait.
What do you think? You think we're gonna get a Tucci goal?
You know what? He's got two chances for it. And I think like Connor Farrell, like we've mentioned, not the surest guy with the ball in his stick. So I think if Tucci does win the clamp cleanly and like scoop it forward to himself, I think he'll have a pretty good run to the goal. It just depends on how eager the defense is to slide off of whether it's Holman or McAsee. Um, yeah, I'll say we will. I'm not sure if it'll be against Philly. I think maybe that's a little bit better of a chance than Ignacio, who I think is faster, and maybe a
Mhm.
little bit better of an all-around athlete. Man, I hope Connor Farrow doesn't clip this. Um, yeah, and he's had one two-pointer every year with the Cannons. I think last year that did come in week one, so wouldn't mind seeing that again. Um,
Mhm.
as long as it comes in a winning effort. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it has. Both years he scored a two, the Cannons have won the game. So um, let's keep that streak going. And just get him scoring, what, 12 two-pointers this season?
That's right.
Yeah.
I
Um,
wouldn't put it past him to try.
no, he certainly will. Yeah, like I said at the beginning and during that conversation, gonna miss Hunter Smith, gonna miss Logan Ip, and obviously all the best to Jack McNary, who's still continuing his college career at Tufts. Um, but hopefully, I'm sure it seemed like Coach Holman wants to see them all. Oh, and Will Donovan, who's obviously still playing with Notre Dame. So really looking forward to seeing all of those in Canada's jerseys later on this year.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think hopefully you're listening to this on your way to the stadium, because I think that's about all we got. If you see us there, say hi. We'll obviously be there in the crowd for all three of the Boston
Mhm.
games, the Cannons and the Guard, waving our flag, cheering them on, yelling and screaming. And we'll have some swag and signs and stuff to hand out as well. So please help us cheer on, make this the best weekend that the PLL has all year until they play in Harvard
Mhm.
in August.
Yes.
Um, and if you're a Rhode Island native, go prove us wrong and make this the best weekend the PLL has all year, period.
Where can they find us between games on Saturday?
Yes. Thank you for that extra reminder. They will be at, just making sure I have it right again. Yes, Guild Brewing in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Let me pull up that address. It is about a 20-minute walk, 461 Main Street in Pawtucket. So it's a little bit down the street from Centerville Bank Stadium. But I know the PLL themselves will be set up there, so I'm sure they'll have some goodies to give away too.
Mhm.
And then obviously some food and drinks to enjoy in between. It sounds like, first game will end a little bit after 3, and then the WL game is until 5:30. So it's, a good time to get some food, get out of the sun, and hang out with some other lacrosse fans and get fired up for our two back-to-back Boston games that we have to close off the weekend. Um, all right, so hopefully we will see you shortly after you finish listening to this. But until then, go Cannons, go Guard.
Go Cannons, go Guard.
Boom.
Boom.